Okay.
And we're live.
Okay, so we have some new members on MPC. So we will start with introductions and then we will move on to, I'm just going to refresh everybody on the code of conduct. So we can start with the introductions. We'll start with you over there.
Sure. So my name is Samantha Dick and I'm the Acting Director of Planning and Development.
And then we'll go over to this end.
I'm Kimberly Hughes. I am a new town councillor.
Sean Gramlich, Town Councillor.
Shirley Torzan Shakurda, Board Chair and Member at Large.
Christine Mando, the member at large.
Frankie Drew, town councillor.
Okay, and so just a refresh on our code of conduct for public and delegates. Number one, the chair requests all cell phones to be turned off or turned down. 2, introductions. 3, the chair informs all delegates that they may only speak to their applications and that all discussion must be directed through the chair. Delegates may only speak at their appointed time and only to their application. 4, members of the public attending MPC meetings may not speak to any application or engage with the members of the MPC unless the chair allows it. 5, all members of the public and delegates attending MPC meetings shall maintain order and quiet and shall not applaud or otherwise interrupt any speech or action of the MPC members or any other person addressing the MPC. 6, the chair may order a member of the public or a delegate who disturbs or acts improperly at an MPC meeting by words or actions be expelled from the meeting. Not going to happen right now. 7A, chairman states presentations are to be brief and to the point. 7B, the order for meeting presentations will be as established by the MPC agenda. 7C, all members giving presentations are to state their name and address. Number 8, chairman may allow questions from members of the MPC after each presentation. And 9, chairman may allow rebuttal from persons having given presentations. And I have a point number 10, all MPC members must vote either for or against every item unless that member has declared a conflict of interest. So we're all good? Okay, so on to, what do I have here? I've got, minutes of meeting October 20th.
Adoption of agenda.
Pardon?
Adoption of agenda.
Yeah. So adoption of agenda and 3A minutes of October 4th, 2021. Oh, adoption of agenda. Is there any additions? No. Okay, can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
Okay, Sean, call the question. Those in favor? Carried. Minutes of previous meetings, October 4th, 2021. Is there any, we've got corrections on it?
Yes. Well, they're not in the package right at the moment, but I have already gone in and changed the minutes to remove Syed from the attendees as well as change the date to October 4th from September. So this would be a motion to approve as amended.
Can I get a motion to accept the minutes as amended? I'll make that motion.
Yeah.
Call the question. Those in favor? Carried. Number 4, business arising from the minutes. Nothing. On to 5A, Big Fish RV Resort, page 5.
So the purpose of this report is for the MPC to consider the application for excavation borrow pit at 1000 Caribou Trail Northwest, located on Southwest 1-73-6- west of the 5th in the RR1 Recreation Facility and Resort District. The applicant is Big Fish Bay, of which the owner is the town of Slave Lake. I've given you the regulations of section 26 of the land use bylaw regarding excavation, stripping, and grading, but I'm not going to read through that because that's a lot. So the applicant has requested the use of a borrow pit on the above noted site. He is using the clay from this area to build bases for his new campsites. The borrow pit area is in the site of the proposed marina, and this application was referred to our engineers for comment and Mr. Fetter with Associated Engineering. Mr. Fetter had some concerns which are shown below with Mr. Dreiter's engineer Stu Corks from Epics Engineering, Engineering, supplying the following information. The planning department is requesting additionally that those items that are indicated in red. So the anticipated amount of material used to date and required, they say they've used 9770 meters cubed, and forecast that they will use 10,000 cubic meters. And the borrow area has an availability of 65,437 meters cubed. The duration of the use is, they have proposed use until 2025 with the ability to request 1-year extensions if needed. Public access control to that area. Fencing around the entire area will control public access to the area. Weed control. They are saying that weed control will be done by cutting or tilling as required. We are asking that weed control be done at minimum 4 times a year in the summer months, and that mowing of accessible areas and then spraying where not accessible. Water control. This is water levels within the borrow pit area. They say they will be done by pumping pond as needed. However, this can create an issue with standing water sitting where it's at, as well as if fences are not 100% all up. So we've asked that they be required to pump the water out when it reaches depths of 150 millimeters. Reclamation obligations, timeline for completion. So if the marina has not been approved by 2025, then Mr. Cork has proposed that the area be backfilled and reclaimed, or they can then apply for 1-year extensions at that time, of which the town has no issues with that. So there's been a couple of items also that the planning department has requested from Mr. Dreiter that have been continually put off. And so we are requesting that the NPC require these items as conditions of the development permit. First off is the ER subdivision. This is the environmental reserve that's along the lake shore so that no development can happen within that area. In accordance with section 27, 30 meters from top of bank is defined as from the top of any body of water as defined in the Water Act. So in order to preserve that area and the top of bank that was identified in 2019, the town requested that Mr. Dreiter create a tentative plan of subdivision to create this ER lot. This will allow for a delineated area where no development can occur that would be detrimental to the preservation of the shore. Mr. Dreiter had engaged the services of Mystic Environmental to prepare a report on what that high water mark or top of bank delineation should be. And in July 2019, Mr. Dreiter was advised that the town was amenable to the report from Mystic Environmental that delineated the top of bank and asked Mr. Dreiter to bring forward an application for subdivision. To date, nothing has been received. As part of the review for the borrow pit, the planning department inquired when they would be bringing this application forward and was told they wanted to push it off once again until such time as the marina is applied for or after phase 4 was completed. Secondly, the PUL subdivision. The PUL is required for the 4-bay pond and the marina area. This was planned in the whole approval of the developer's concept plan, and this area that is to be subdivided out would be then a public utility lot or PUL. This 4-bay pond area has been already cleared and ready for pond preparation. Not only that, but as can be seen below, the borrow pit has been utilized already and has a fair amount of water in it. The planning department requests that the MPC require the subdivision at the same time as the ER subdivision, and this would allow for both items to be completed and not pushed off again. And it seems reasonable and fair that we request the developer to fully complete one section of development before moving on to the next phase. It is the contention of the planning department that the applicant keeps moving forward with the next portion of development without completing the requirements of the previous applications. So to that point, the planning department decided that there would be no review of applications until such time as the previous items had been completed. On October 13th, the town, including the CAO, Director of Operations, Associated Engineering, and myself, sat down with Mr. Dreger and his engineer to discuss the differences between the submitted and approved servicing drawings and the submitted as-built drawings for the previous applications. This was the final matter that was to be dealt with on those applications. It was agreed upon that Mr. Dreger would go back and install the items that were missing from the installation and are a requirement of the servicing for within the town of Slave Lake. As we want to keep working on a positive relationship with Big Fish Bay and all of their staff, to that end, we request this be done in an orderly way so that all items do not get missed or changed on the fly. So it is the recommendation of the planning department that while we have concerns with some of the items that the developer keeps pushing off, it is the recommendation of the planning department that the NPC approve this development permit conditional to subdivision of the ER and the PUL lot. And I will note that I've given you the motion, and I would like to add to that motion, it'll read the MPC approves development permit 400421 for the excavation dash borrow pit in the RR1 recreation facility and resort district. That's the only change to the motion.
Okay, question.
Mhm.
So this borrow pit is actually being construction or dug out already? When did this start?
I couldn't give you a date. I just know it was there already in 2019.
In 2019, and this is the application for it coming to us now?
Yeah, I received it in April of this year.
The package shows that they used already 9,770 cubic meters of material and that they only need another 230 cubic meters more, give or take.
Yeah, give or take.
And there's already applications before that have fallen
Yes.
fallen aside and they
that's-
haven't been addressed?
Up to date, as of the 23rd of October, they have finally submitted their final drawings. Those drawings were accepted as given, but there is requirements to go back and complete areas that were not developed in accordance with the approved servicing drawings.
So the conditions noted in here are all valid conditions?
Mhm.
Okay. Is there anybody else have any questions? So I like that you guys are following up and trying to close the loop on some of these applications. And I like the fact that these conditions are in the motion.
Mhm.
Moving forward, there's no other discussion. I'll make the motion.
Are we putting a limit or time limit on this?
There is a time limit in the motion of 5 years with the ability to do 1-year extensions.
At this point,
But this development, this approval is pending. There's conditions for previous developments.
That's what I'm asking,
Mhm.
sorry.
Yeah.
For the previous conditions. It's a 5-year,
So no, the 5-year is specifically for this permit itself. The previous ones, we cannot go back and address unless we're bringing that forward in the application, which I am not. He's already been given a timeline with which to approve, not to approve, but to finish the changes that need to get done. And on good faith, I brought this forward because it should be done by now, what he had approved. What he had asked him to get done.
Okay, I'll make the motion. Any more discussion? Is everybody clear that we've got conditions on this motion going back to previous applications that the town feels that need to be addressed? Yeah? Okay, call the question, those in favor? Carried. 5B, page 20, Shane Samoil.
Okay, so the purpose of this report is for the MPC to consider the application for an occupying space for medical and health offices outpatient or True Balance Chiropractic at 405 6th Avenue Southwest, located on Lot 3, Block 3, Plan 9123751 in the institutional district. I've given you the section that gives you the definition for medical and health office outpatient, as well as the section 110, which is the institutional district regulations that lists medical and health offices outpatient as a discretionary use, and so then must be considered by the NPC. The applicant has been operating from the health within building for some time now, but the building has recently sold and he's required to move to a new location. As the applicant was given less than 3 weeks to find a new site to operate from that wouldn't disrupt his business for long, he was limited in his ability to find a new space. The applicant wishes to be operating out of the offices from within the building that also houses the accounting offices of Bernadina and the registry's office. There are currently 30 parking spaces in the parking lot, of which 2 would be required for this business. In reviewing the size of the building and the businesses that operate from that location, it was calculated that 20 spaces will be required for all 3 businesses on site. As such, there's sufficient parking available on the site. The planning department has no concerns with this application at this time and recommends that the NPC approve development permit 981021.
Okay, can I get a motion? Sean?
I'll make that motion.
Is there any discussion? No, call the question. Those in favor? Carried. 5C, page 29, AHS.
So the purpose of this report is for the MPC to consider the application for an occupying space for medical and health offices outpatient, emergency services facility, protective services, and offices permitted with on-site uses at 901 4th Street Northwest, located on Lot 3, Block 3, Plan 688NY in the institutional district. Now, I will note for you that the only use that technically has to come forward is the medical and health offices outpatient, because it is the only discretionary use. However, rather than separate the uses into 2 different permits, and we're bringing all 4 uses forward for approval to the MPC. And this happens on a regular basis with different items. If there is a discretionary use, we bring forward all items to be approved at this board. I've given you, once again, the definition for medical and health offices outpatient, as well as all of the different uses that I listed, and the section 110, which lists the medical and health offices discretionary, and the rest of the uses are permitted. So the applicant is in the process of purchasing the above noted building to use for ambulance services. This site will remain a COVID-19 testing center, and they will have offices located on site as well. As ambulance personnel will be required to be on 24-hour call and must remain on the site of the ambulance, sleeping quarters will be developed for those staff. Even though the day use that is discretionary is the medical and health offices outpatient, all uses are brought forward for approval under one application. And so the planning department has no concerns and recommends that the NPC approve this permit.
Question for you. So the emergency services is the ambulance part of it?
Yeah.
And the sleeping quarters, that comes in?
That falls underneath the emergency services application.
Okay. Can I get a motion? Christine?
Yeah.
Is there any discussion? No, I think it's an excellent use of that facility, and I hope it all works out. So
Yes.
Call the question. Those in favor? Carried.
Awesome.
Number 6A, MDP plan, page 39.
So the purpose of this report is for the MPC to provide council with a recommendation regarding bylaw 17/2021. This bylaw is an amendment to the municipal development plan, which has the site of 250 Caribou Trail Southwest, or Lot 7, Block 4, Plan 1024857, designated as industrial, and they're asking to change it to regional commercial within the MDP. As such, this will have 3 plan amendments which are required to facilitate this application. So there'll be amendments coming for the Southwest Area Structure Plan, which is bylaw 18/2021, and the Land Use bylaw 19/2021 will be processed concurrently. As restaurants and industrial districts do not make good planning sense, this means that the property in question requires a rezoning. Rezoning of this site creates a site that is spot zoned and could mean that there could be potential conflicts between uses in the future. Typically, in planning, it is recommended to have contiguous flow of uses to prevent conflicts. That said, this business has been operating from its current site for 5 years now, and there's been no concerns regarding conflict between uses with the neighboring sites. As such, the planning department has no concerns and recommends the MPC indicate their support of bylaw 17-2021.
So is there, would there be any potential conflict with any future uses coming into that area in the M1?
I didn't bring my land use bylaw with me, and I apologize. We'd have to be really careful about any discretionary uses for the M1, which is light industrial, coming forward, such as a chemical distribution center in the next door, because you wouldn't want that next door to a place where you're eating supper and having drinks. But it would, because there's a discretionary use, it would come forward to this board.
So like large scale, we can't see any potential conflicts. Like, I mean, all of those uses and businesses on those properties surrounding that lot are basically
Basically a bunch of trucking companies around it right now anyways. And I don't see any issues there at this point.
okay. Can I get a motion? Kimberly, is there any discussion? No? Call the question. Those in favor? Carried. Next one, page 47, Dog Island.
Okay, so this is the continuing, the purpose of this report is for MPC to provide council with recommendation with regards to bylaw 18/2021 for Dog Island. And this is for the Southwest Area Structure Plan, which currently has the site as an industrial designation and would need to be redesignated to commercial. According to the Southwest Area Structure Plan bylaw 1988, the industrial uses in this area are to be compatible with residential and recreational uses. So in looking at the changes since this AESP was approved and the current uses on site, it makes sense to move forward with redesignation on this property, as commercial uses tend to have less conflict with residential and recreational uses than industrial do. So we recommend approval or support.
Okay, and can I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Frankie, is there any discussion? Steps, call the question. Those in favor? Carried.
Well, the 3 kind of go together, so.
Yep.
We didn't have an argument on the first one.
55, land use, are we on land use bylaw? Yeah.
So this is, this report is for MPC to provide council with recommendation regarding bylaw 19/2021. And this is for the land use bylaw redistricting from M1 light industrial to C2 secondary commercial. No further additional information, but recommendation to support.
Okay, can I get a motion? Sean? Any discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? Carried. 6D, page 62, land use bylaw.
Okay. So the purpose of this report is for MPC to provide council with a recommendation with respect to bylaw 2021. The applicant is David Major. The landowner is Canadian Property Holdings, Inc. and Crest Point Limited. They're 50/50 owners. And this is to amend section 89(2) of the land use bylaw by adding medical and health offices outpatient as a permitted use. In 2016, the town engaged GSA or Green Space Alliance to assist in creating a new downtown and Main Street area plan. And part of this project was to review each district and as well make each district unique with separate uses that were deemed appropriate for that area. In looking at the uses of the C3 Highway Commercial District, at that time, there was almost every single commercial use listed. And the steering committee looked at those uses and decided that some of these were not appropriate for highway commercial. So during this project, the company was invited to join in discussions. However, no response was ever received. So bylaw 2021 is coming forward as Cornerstone would like to have the ability to have a more diverse rental ability. In looking at the uses in the highway commercial zones and commercial centers in other areas, it is common to see medical offices in these sites, and people are often traveling from out of town to see their specialist. This is a convenient way for them to do a little shopping before or after a medical appointment and all in one spot. As such, the planning department has no concerns and recommends that the MPC support bylaw 2021.
I'm a little confused at the history behind this. So there was, says that some of the uses were not appropriate for highway commercial. Has it just been stopped at that? That the steering committee had
No,
concerns?
so the steering committee went through they literally went through every single use there was like 30 people in the room for each district, said, does this use make sense in this district? Yes or no? And if they didn't, why didn't they? And so then there was, I believe, about 12 uses that were pulled from the C3 district.
Oh, okay. Okay, and now we're adding or amending it?
Not amending the downtown plan, because that doesn't list uses within it. The uses are within the land use bylaw. So we are amending by adding a use to the highway commercial, which is the medical and health offices outpatient,
Okay.
so that they can have, well, it's a wide variety of different medical uses that can fall underneath that, of which there was about 20 of them that they had listed that they would like to see the ability to rent to in their site.
Out of 20, out of their rental space, they'll have a possibility of 20 different types of medical uses. Okay.
At least.
And this is not because they already have, this isn't saying one's moving in there now. This is just for the potential in the future.
This is because one didn't move in there and move somewhere else, in town. And so they want the ability to either attract them over there or bring different types of medical.
Okay, I was just curious what brought this up.
Yeah, no, there's been discussion on this particular topic now for about a year and a half. And this is the only use that they decided at this time to bring forward.
Okay. So can I get a motion?
I'm fine with making that.
Kimberly? No, go ahead. Frankie? More discussion? Call the question, those in favor? Did we get a? Okay. Yeah, okay. Carry. And proposed subdivisions? Nothing, other business? No MPC development concerns? John? Just asking. Next meeting is December 6th and adjourned.
Just to let you guys know that on that date, I will be bringing the calendar dates for meetings for all of 2022. Those are all planned at the December meeting. And I will be bringing a list so that we can go through and make sure that they're all okay with everybody.
Good. Okay.
If I can get that list ahead of time, as I will not be here.
Absolutely, I can send you a copy.